Hello everyone, Dark Swordsman here. I wanted to share a really awesome thing that I found with my Quest 2. Previously, I was using the Quest 2 with Airlink. This means that I can wirelessly use the Quest 2 throughout my home without any cables. In theory, this was awesome, and it is when it works, but the reality is that it is not great. Airlink requires a really good access point or router, and for basically no other network traffic to exist, at least on the device that is routing packets on your network. Without a dedicated router, you may experience occasional hiccups, but especially a lot of frame drops and absolute freezing with any network activity besides the headset. This is even with a dedicated Wi-Fi 5 access point in my living room. To get the most out of wireless, I would need to buy a $100 router capable of Wi-Fi 6 or 6E. These would be AX3000 or AX1800 routers. I would need to put it in the switch mode between my main router and my PC. Plus, the SSID would need to have only the Quest on it, and it would need a direct cable to the PC. This can work for many, but it is expensive and possibly still unreliable. So, what is the solution? Cables. Well, doesn't that defeat the purpose of using the Quest 2? No, actually, and I will explain after I show you how to use it. Normally, people are used to the Quest Link over cable being terrible. I had tried it and was baffled at how bad it was. However, today after seeing a Thrillseeker tweet and having a discussion, an amazing person named Kevin Brook told me about how they use their Quest 2. They use a cable, and they actually use an application that I had used before to make the quality much better. The Oculus Debug Tool. Yep, this whole time, while being barely able to use wireless, I could have just plugged in a cable and overridden the god-awful bitrate that the Link was using. So here's how to do it. Step 1, plug in your Quest 2. For this I used a 3-meter USB 3.0 cable that I had laying around. I bought it from Amazon and I will link it here. Though, if you want to go for a USB 3.1 or 3.2 cable, you can search for your own cable. I am also using a 90-degree Type A to Type C that I bought from AliExpress. This is just nice so I don't have to worry about the Quest 2's Type C port being ripped out. Plus I can do a relief loop on the back of the headset. I tested this and it won't put any stress on the port even if I step on it. Step 2. Open the Oculus app and then open the Oculus Debug Tool. The Oculus Debug Tool is in this path specifically, and it is most likely under Program Files, though I have mine installed on another drive, so this is what it looks like for me. In this app, you'll have a lot of different settings, but the main one that matters is Encode Bitrate. I personally have this set to 225 megabits per second, but this is what I found to be just under the upper limit for my setup. The person that told me about this apparently was able to run consistently at 400 megabits per second, which is more than double of the normal Airlink bitrate, by the way, so they probably have a better cable than me. If you want to make sure it's working, you can set it to 10 megabits per second to start, and then raise it by entering the number and pressing the enter key. You'll notice that it looks really blocky and pixelated, but as you raise the bitrate, it should look much clearer. If you want to make sure it always looks a little bit clearer, you can also turn on link sharpening. There are other options here too that you may tinker with to get even better results, but I didn't use them. Step 3. Start Quest Link in the headset. In your Quest 2, you should be able to click the bottom left button on the dash with the battery and time, and then click on Quest Link on the right side of the new window. Make sure to uncheck Airlink so it can give you the option for the cable. Then if it is recognized, just click the blue button to connect. Step 4. Profit. That should be it. While in the Oculus Dash, you should notice that it is very low latency and very smooth. At least this is what I noticed. So yes, it is with a cable, but consider this. Pretty much every new headset is more expensive than the Quest 2, and they all come with proprietary cables that you probably need to spend $100 or more on when they eventually break in a year or two. This solution uses a $10 USB cable and a $2 90-degree USB adapter cable, which are standard parts that you can probably buy forever until USB is replaced. So all in all, you can buy a brand new Quest 2 for $400 and these cables for $15, and you'll have a wired PC VR experience that is pretty solid. So that's pretty much it, but here's some other info that I want to mention. Obviously, I can attest that the encoding quality is still technically lower than if it was a raw cable. Even when I was using my Rift CV1 and I had the cable on it, plus the OLED screens, it did look a little bit cleaner. However, warning, nerd terminology up ahead, this is due to their apparent use of the 420 chroma subsampling and the limited color range. This is common practice for video encoding, and it's really normal. However, Virtual Desktop already supports full range on H.265. Full versus limited range means that the total colors available is less. Instead of the normal 0 to 255, it is limited to 16 to 235. It also uses 420 chroma subsampling. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but this basically means that some of the color channels are lower resolution. You can read more about YUV color sampling here on Wikipedia, but basically it means that the saturated colors that are red or blue will appear a little more pixelated around the edges. I did already do a test with the Quest 2, and I was able to confirm that it can hardware decode H.265 with 444 chroma subsampling and full range. It can also do 10-bit, which means that the color range is 0 to 1023 instead of 0 to 255, which can retain a little more detail. What does this mean? It means that this whole time, the Quest 2 could have had visual fidelity that is pretty much identical to a raw signal over a cable. It is just up to Meta to implement this functionality in software. The Snapdragon processor can already do the hardware decoding for H.265 in full range as demonstrated by Virtual Desktop, and 444 chroma and 10-bit really isn't that much heavier. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do like it. Also share it with anyone you know who uses the Quest 2 since they will probably benefit from this. Be sure to subscribe as I may start to post more content like this, though really I post random content at random times, so yeah. Anyways, see you later.